If you're a veteran and have been considering a move to Minnesota, this is the video for you. On this episode of Living in Fargo, North Dakota, we're going to hop over to the other side of the river and explore a summary of benefits that the state of Minnesota has to offer their veterans, service members, and their families. With RE/MAX Legacy Realty, and every day I help people just like you. So whether you are 9 days or 90 days from your move to Fargo, North Dakota or the surrounding areas, I'm here to help make that a smooth transition for you. All of my contact information is listed in the description below, and we can make sure to get in touch and chat about your move in or around Fargo, North Dakota. Before we get started, I want to say a special thank you to all of our veterans. You are such a huge asset to our country and to the families that live here. We are so grateful for you and for your service. To be completely transparent with you, I don't have all of these benefits memorized. The state of Minnesota might very well have even more benefits than the state of North Dakota. I don't know for sure, but the printout seems longer. And when I say that, I mean that I printed it. And I highlighted everything from the official Army benefits website for the state of Minnesota. I will include a direct link to this website so that you can go and check this information yourself. There's going to be a lot of additional information that I'm not including in this video, so I would strongly encourage you to go and check that reference. And with that said, we're going to get started. The first thing we are going to discuss is tax benefits for veterans in the state of Minnesota. Minnesota does not tax military pay by resident service members who are serving on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces. Minnesota provides tax relief to the families of service members who have died while serving on active duty in the U.S. or United Nations Armed Forces. Taxes are forgiven under certain circumstances, and you'll have to check that out in the link that I provided below. Minnesota does not tax military retired pay. Retired service members who claim his or her subtraction may not claim the refundable credit for past military services. Minnesota residents of the U.S. Armed Forces who have a federal adjusted gross income of less than $37,500 may qualify for a non-refundable tax credit of up to $750. Part-year or non-residents may qualify for the credit based on the percentage of their income that is taxable in Minnesota. Veterans qualify if they have a federal adjusted gross income less than $37,500 and meet one of the following requirements. They've received an honorable discharge and received military retire pay, they served in the U.S. Armed Forces for at least 20 years, or they have a service-connected 100% total and permanent disability rating from the VA. Minnesota offers a market value exclusion program for veterans, surviving spouses, or a primary family caregiver of a veteran. The program reduces the market value of the homestead for tax purposes. So that's your primary residence, which may reduce the property tax. The program provides two different levels of market value exclusion. The first is for an $150,000 exclusion, and to qualify for that, you would be a veteran with 70 to 100% service-connected disability rating, not permanent or total, and then a primary family caregiver of a veteran with 70 to 100% service-connected disability rating, again, not permanent or total. The other option is the $300,000 exclusion for veterans with 100% permanent and total service-connected disability rating, or surviving spouse receiving dependency indemnity compensation, or surviving spouse of a veteran who had 100% permanent and total service-connected disability rating, or the primary family caregiver of a veteran with 100% permanent and total service-connected disability rating. So you can get all of this information again on the link below, so you can kind of go through it and see where you qualify yourself. It goes over primary family caregiver eligibility, surviving spouse eligibility, and veteran eligibility as well. Moving on to education. Minnesota Veteran Education Assistance is a one-time $750 grant for tuition for veterans to assist them in completing a bachelor's degree. This grant is only available to veterans who have exhausted their GI Bill benefits. Grants are paid directly to the institution or may be reimbursed to the veterans upon verification that their tuition has been paid. To see if you're eligible for this specific thing, please check the link below. It will get you all the information you need. The Minnesota National Guard Tuition Reimbursement Program provides service members up to 100% of the tuition costs at an accredited educational institution. The lifetime maximum benefit is 208 quarters or 144 semester credits. The undergraduate reimbursement rate is up to 100% of the undergraduate rate of the University of Minnesota Twin Cities campus, with a maximum yearly benefit of $18,000 per fiscal year, and that's July 1st through the 30th of June. The graduate reimbursement rate is up to 75% of the graduate rate of the University of Minnesota Twin Cities campus, with a near maximum yearly benefit of $28,000 per fiscal year. Again, to find out if you're eligible for that, check the link below because they have quite a few things that I would have to list out that you would need to have for a qualification to be eligible. Surviving spouses and eligible dependents of deceased veterans are offered free tuition at an approved Minnesota post-secondary education institution up to completion of their bachelor's degree. In addition, the Minnesota Department of Veterans Affairs will pay $750 per fiscal year towards fees, books, supplies, and room and board. Veterans must have been a resident of Minnesota when entering the U.S. Armed Forces or have been a resident of Minnesota for at least 6 months prior to their death due to service-connected disability. Applicants must be Minnesota residents, and there is no age limit for the eligible survivors. This does go for adopted children and stepchildren of the deceased as well. The Minnesota GI Bill program provides educational financial assistance to veterans, service members, and their dependents. The program provides a maximum benefit of $10,000. Eligible participants can use the benefit for their higher education, on-the-job training, apprenticeships, or licenses and certifications. To see the eligibility requirements for that, please check the link below. We are moving on to employment benefits. State employees who are service members in a reserve component of the U.S. Armed Forces receive 15 days of paid military leave per calendar year. This is for training and federal or state active duty. In addition, they will not lose pay, seniority status, efficiency rating, vacation, or sick leave, and any other benefits while on military leave. The Minnesota Veterans Preference Act grants most veterans a limited preference over non-veterans in hiring and promotion for most Minnesota public employment positions. A private non-public employer may grant preference in hiring and promotion to a veteran or the spouse of a disabled veteran who has a service-connected, permanent, and total disability. This preference may also be afforded to the surviving spouse of a deceased veteran. A disabled veteran means a person who has a service-connected disability rating as determined by the VA or by a retirement board of a branch of the U.S. Armed Forces. The Minnesota Veterans-Owned Small Business Program offers a 6% preference in selling products or services or bidding on construction projects for the state to certified veteran-owned businesses. To be certified as a veteran-owned small business, the business must be at least 51% owned by a veteran or a veteran with a service-connected disability. In addition, the business must be operated and controlled on a day-to-day basis as well as long-term basis by a qualifying owner. and the business must be located in the state of Minnesota to be eligible. Additional employment benefits in the state of Minnesota that you're going to want to make sure to check out when you click the link in my description that brings you to all this information. That would include the Federal Employment Veterans Hiring Preferences, Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, the absence from work for military duty, disability accommodation, return to work without loss of seniority, the extension of health and pension plans, Minnesota Career Force Veterans Resources, and then the last one we have that is on my list here is the Minnesota Hilton Honors Military Program. And that is a program that will provide hotel accommodations for those required to travel while they are looking for a new job, training for a new job, or finding a home. Those who are eligible can receive up to a total of 100,000 hotel points for verifiable employment-related activities. That is it for employment for now. You might be asking yourself, what are my Minnesota Military and Veteran Department of Motor Vehicles benefits? Well, Minnesota does have some. The Minnesota Driver and Vehicle Services Division offers a veteran and disabled veteran designation on a Minnesota driver's license or ID cards for eligible veterans and disabled veterans. They also have a special military and veterans vehicle license plates. Minnesota offers 28 distinctive license plate designs to honor the service and sacrifice of service members, veterans, retired service members, and eligible family members. Moving on to Veterans Health and Insurance benefits, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs provides valuable life insurance benefits to veterans, active and reserve component service members, and their families to provide financial security given the extraordinary risks involved in military service. The VA provides the following life insurance benefits programs. They have the Service Members Group Life Insurance, the Veterans Group Life Insurance, Family Service Members Group Life Insurance, Service Members Group Life Insurance Traumatic Injury Protection Plan, Service Disabled Veterans Life Insurance, Veterans Mortgage Life Insurance. There's a lot of different things to look into with this. This will obviously be a very much case-by-case thing for what people will need, and so I would suggest checking that out. But the state of Minnesota does offer a variety of group life insurance programs for you to look into. The National Guard Association of Minnesota state-sponsored life insurance for National Guard service members is a little different. Every member of Minnesota National Guard is covered with $1,000 at no cost. The key benefits of this are over $1 million in coverage available for Minnesota National Guard service members through a combination of the plans, coverage available for spouses and children. Rates do not go up when service members separate from the National Guard. Coverage is 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. No war or aviation exclusions. New recruits are eligible for $10,000 at no cost for the first year of service in the Minnesota National Guard, and they must enroll within 180 days of joining the National Guard. To see if you're eligible for that, make sure to check the link below. Minnesota National Guard service members who are wounded, contract an illness, or become disabled while serving on the state active duty are eligible for compensation from the state. If the service member dies as a result of their active duty service, their beneficiaries are eligible for compensation in the same amount allowed for service members serving in a federal active duty status. Minnesota Department of Veterans Affairs helps veterans and their dependents by providing $400 for annual eye exams and prescription eyewear. This benefit is income and asset-based. Minnesota Department of Veterans Affairs helps veterans and their dependents by providing dental benefits for routine dental exams, extractions, and dental procedures. The benefit is income-based as well, income and asset-based. Veterans and their dependents can receive up to $1,000 for annual routine dental care. If dentures are necessary, MDVA will issue an additional denture authorization for up to $3,000 once per lifetime. And if needed, an additional tooth extraction authorization for up to $2,000 once per lifetime in preparation for dentures. Moving on to something a little lighter, we're going to talk about the parks and recreation benefits for veterans in the state of Minnesota. The Veterans Campground on Big Marine Lake, St. Croix is a family campground that provides facilities and opportunities for recreation, rest, and recovery for all who have served or who are still serving in the U.S. Armed Forces and their families and sponsored friends. The campground has a wide variety of recreational activities for the entire family, to include camping, cabins, tents, and RV sites, boating, fishing, tubing, swimming, softball, volleyball, horseshoes, canteen, game room, lending library, and outdoor pavilion for parties, reunions, gatherings, or whatever you would want to do there. To see if you are eligible to stay at what sounds like the most fun park in the state of Minnesota, it is open to all honorably discharged veterans, active and reserve component service members, retired service members, disabled veterans, and military families. Service members and their dependents, Purple Heart recipients, and disabled veterans can receive an annual permit for Minnesota State Parks for free. This is a great benefit. If you're familiar with the state of Minnesota, you know that we have some of the most beautiful state parks. People will head out there during the fall to see the leaves change, or maybe just to go butt up to one of the 10,000 lakes. Additionally, for resident service members serving an active and reserve component of the U.S. Armed Forces will receive first preference in drawings for special deer hunts, antlerless deer lottery, bear and turkey lotteries. Resident service members on leave who are serving in the U.S. Armed Forces and stationed outside of the state may do all these following things: hunt small game without a license. No Minnesota waterfowl stamp or pheasant stamp is needed, but they must have a federal duck stamp to hunt waterfowl. Hunt deer, bear, wild turkey, and wolf without charge after obtaining the appropriate licenses and tags through the Minnesota electronic license system. Fish without a license, and use ski trails without a ski pass. Service members must have a valid Minnesota driver's license or state ID card and leave papers with them while hunting, fishing, or using ski trails. One of the last benefits that we are really going to touch on today is the ability to get a VA loan. When you are purchasing a house and getting a mortgage, the VA loan is going to be such a great tool for you as a veteran. Now, of course, this isn't strictly for the state of Minnesota, but locally here in Fargo, North Dakota, Moorhead, Minnesota, and our surrounding areas, we have some of the greatest lenders with some really great options for this for you. Now, with a VA loan, you can get a 100% financed loan, which means you don't have to bring money to the table for a down payment. You have a lot of times no monthly mortgage insurance. You can accept gift funds to help things with your closing costs, those types of deals. And a lot of times they are really flexible with the debt to income ratio. So there are more benefits to using a VA loan as a veteran. It is a really great thing for you, and it's something that you should look into. If you do need some advice on who to talk to for lenders, I can give you a few that are really great locally in the Fargo, North Dakota, Moorhead, Minnesota area that can direct you on if that loan is the right fit for you in purchasing your next home or your dream home or whatever it may be. Coming to a close with this video, I am just going to list some of the benefits for veterans in the state of Minnesota that we didn't go over. I'm doing this so that you can see how important it is for you to go check out this information on your own, because some of these things may seriously apply to you. One of these is the Minnesota Field Operations and Veterans Outreach, Minnesota Women's Veterans Program, Minnesota Short-Term Financial Assistance for Veterans and Surviving Spouses, the Minnesota Special Needs Grant, the Minnesota Link Vet Veterans Service Center, Minnesota Veterans Homes. Let's see. There's a bunch of those. There are veteran home locations in Fergus Falls, Hastings, Luverne. Why did I say it like that? It's Luverne. Minneapolis, Silver Bay. I believe that's it. That's a lot. I think the state of North Dakota just has the one location that I am aware of. Minnesota Veterans Adult Day Care Center. They have In here, the Minnesota Military Funeral Honors, Minnesota State Veterans Cemetery, Minnesota Bronze Star Grave Markers, the Minnesota Service Corps, which is the Case Management, Outreach, Referral, and Education, which is a free program designed to bring essential community-based services to Minnesota veterans, the Minnesota Homeless Veterans Assistance Program, and then the Minnesota Homes for Veterans Property Management Incentive Program. There's just a lot of things in the state of Minnesota for veterans. It's important for you to go check them all out. I hope this video was somewhat beneficial to you and helpful for you. I apologize that I am not a professional when it comes to the benefits that the state of Minnesota has for our veterans, but I hope that I at least provided you with a summary that you can hear well enough to understand that you can go and look and find this information more on your own. If you are considering moving to the Fargo, North Dakota, or just over the river to Minnesota area, I'm here to help you with that transition and help you determine which state is better for you based on a lot of different topics, but this one included. Feel free to reach out. All of my information is in the description below. Click subscribe for more information on the Fargo, North Dakota, and surrounding areas, and hit the bell so that you are the first to know of our videos and the changing market in Fargo, North Dakota. We'll see you on the next one.